You're a 20-year-old entrepreneur and you found success in social media business. Born in Lithuania, now relocated to Spain. What is it that helps you create a home where you can bring your most entrepreneurial self to your projects? And what did you learn from studying martial arts all those years that you actually applied to your home to help you stay in a mindset that keeps you going? You're going to have to listen to find out. This is one of my favorite conversations I've ever had. Let's get into it. Hello and welcome to Home Life for Extraordinary Impact. On this show, you're going to get to witness some really raw in-the-moment research that I'm doing with experts and everyday people all around the world. What is it that I'm researching? One central question. How do you design your life at home for growth, connection, and making your greatest impact in the world? On this podcast, I'll be doing this research. You can follow along on the newsletter, Home Life Design Lab at homelifedesignlab.com. I'll tell you more about that at the end of the episode. I'm Matt Barrios. I'm a husband, dad, writer, and researcher, and I'll be your host today as we explore what home is like for my special guest interview. His name is Arnas Gintalas. You're going to have to pronounce it better for me in a second. But Arnas is born in Lithuania, currently living in Spain, and is a young, successful entrepreneur in social media. I'm so excited to chat with him about exploring home from this different cross-cultural angle, as well as how does he set up his home and to be a really successful young entrepreneur. So Arnas, could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so first of all, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. So my name is Arnas Gintalas. I'm originally born in Lithuania, born and raised. And at the age of 18, I moved out of my parents' home to Spain. And so far, I've been living in Spain for 2 years. Matt can say I'm a successful entrepreneur. I would say I'm a passionate entrepreneur. There's a lot of room for growth still, but I'm doing my thing. I'm doing my thing with social media. I'm really deep into social media business, and I'm trying to learn every single day.
I love it, man. Well, thanks for coming on for an interview, and I'm especially, as I said, interested in your life growing up in Lithuania, what that was like. You and I have chatted before this, and I've heard a little bit about it, but I want to hear more in more depth. And why Spain? Why did you choose to make your home in Spain these days? So, but before we get into that, one of the big questions I like to ask people is, what are the different places that you have called home throughout your life? What are those places?
Probably Lithuania, a few places in Lithuania, right? Like my grandparents' house and my parents' house, where I don't live anymore. And definitely home recently started feeling like Spain. I love traveling. Like I actually came just right now from a vacation from Florida, like a week ago, right? I love traveling, but now when I'm traveling, when I think of home, it really feels like, oh, I want to go back to Spain. So for me, it was probably like two places. And it was kind of strange because I used to travel while I was living in Lithuania too. Yes, I was young, but probably from 16 or so, I started traveling. And it would be like, all right, I missed home and I would miss Lithuania. But right now when I'm traveling, and let's say I go to Bali, I go to whatever country in Asia, I think like, oh my God, I missed my home, and my home is Spain right now. So definitely those two places, and I felt the shift probably like a year ago. I needed to live here in Spain for at least 6 months, I would say, but I fell in love with the culture and everything I've built here that I'm like, yeah, this is my home now.
That's so cool. And, I want to hear about that shift to Spain in a second, but first, I want to hear a little bit more about Lithuania because it's a country that I don't have as much familiarity with. I've visited Spain before, but I've never visited Lithuania. What is culture like in Lithuania for you as you're growing up?
I would say people are very cold. The closest thing you can, like, probably Americans who are listening to this, like the closest thing is probably when you watch movies like Watchdog and they're like people go to like Albania or something and it's like cold, people are like sketchy. That's where I grew up. Not all Lithuania is like that. Not at all. We have like beautiful big cities with beautiful history. But where I grew up specifically, in a very small town with a population of around 7,000 people right now, it was kind of like that. We have very cold winters and we have very hot summers. People are not very happy, or maybe they are inside happy, but they don't want to share that happiness with others. But you know what? Like, as growing up, I didn't see any other options. So I was like, cool. Like, I love this country, right? Like, still, I grew up there and I'm thankful for everything that country gave me. It's just the vibe. It's not like Mediterranean Europe or nothing like that. It's more like, and Lithuania is a bit up there in the north. So it's colder. People are colder. The infrastructure, the buildings look different. It's post-Soviet Union country, right? So I think we got out of Soviet Union in 1991 or 1990. And yeah, you can still see the influence in the buildings, right? You can see like the big blocky apartment buildings, which you can see all over Eastern Europe. You can still find that like older population mainly speaks Lithuanian, but they know Russian. Like they speak Russian if they need to. Younger generation is more like Western right now, but you still get that Slavic kind of vibe. But you know what? When you're growing up, like you're just a kid, you don't see how other people grow up. Especially like I was born in 2003, and probably people will be listening will be like, "Oh, I graduated college in 2003," you know. But
Sure.
like still in that time frame when I was growing up, probably until like 2010, not a lot of people had like phone. We had internet, but not like iPhones, right? And stuff like that. So you wouldn't really see how other people are growing up, and you would think, all right, like how I'm growing up, probably everyone else in the world is growing up. So like we were happy kids, spending our summers because we had hot summers and cold winters, right? So as a kid, like you can play with snow, and in summer you can go to swim in the lake, and we have beautiful nature too. Like I think like 60% or something of Lithuania's land is just covered by forests, like very green, beautiful forests,
Wow.
which I don't see a lot. Like here in Spain, where I live in south of Spain, it's like the main color you see is like sand color mainly. And in Lithuania, you notice it very quickly that it's all green, like very green. I actually visited Lithuania in the summer, and I felt it. Like I felt the change very quickly because it's still hot in summer, but it's so green, and you feel the humidity too. So it's a cool place. We have cool nature. The culture there is great. I love it. It's just something you would need to get used to. Yeah.
I'm sure. Yeah. I mean, everything from the climate to being a post-Soviet Union country, all of that will influence, a person's experience growing up there. I want to zoom in on your home there. You mentioned your grandparents' home, your parents' home as places. What was like the feel of life in those places? What were those homes like?
Yeah, I remember at 6 years old, I moved into like a house, something you would compare to a suburb in the US. And before that, I was living in like this blocky Soviet-built apartment building. So I don't really recall a lot from that first apartment, but I remember like when we moved into a house, like it felt really good because we had a huge backyard, which you don't see a lot everywhere. But in Lithuania, it's pretty popular to have like a big backyard where like as a kid, I could drive my bicycle and play basketball and do like all that kind of stuff. So I really I well remember me just like inviting my friends over to my backyard to play like football, like soccer, sorry. In Europe, we call it football, right? Like basketball, we had a basketball court. And in general, like it was, like I said, like it was for a kid, it was a dream to just have your own like room And my parents were pretty chill with me having like posters on the wall and stuff like that. So I had my space, and I grew up with my brother who's 7 years older and who lived like next to my room. So I remember very well just spending my time with my brother. I remember watching movies with him in his room, but we still had like different rooms. It felt really homey. Like, and I think the home feeling came not from like the walls and the space, but from the people there, because I always had someone present while growing up, because my brother was 7 years older, like I said. So I had someone who was kind of taking care of me. Even if my parents were working, I had like a grandmother or a brother to talk to. And like in our culture in Lithuania, and in general in like Slavic culture and like Russian culture, post-Soviet Union culture, people are very close to people they don't know. But when it comes to family, they're like very close usually, and they make sure they take care of each other. They're very respectful, and like family is everything you have, right? So of course there are bad people in the world. Anywhere in the world you have bad people, but in general,
Right.
like family is valued really high in our culture. So yeah, it was just like
That's great.
one thing. When you say home, I just think of family right away.
That's awesome. Yeah, everybody from your brother to your grandma and your parents, and even like those trusted friends who you have over to play in your backyard or whatever. Like it's
Oh,
the
yeah.
people that make a home, right? And
Exactly.
I love that. Now, fast forward, right? You said 18, you move out of your folks' house, and you start to stretch into a life in Spain. Why Spain? What was it that captured you about that place?
Well, I'm a baptized Christian. I don't go to church like that much. I don't go to church every Sunday or something like that. But I was born in Lithuania, but my mom had her best friend move to Spain when she was like 20 or whatever. And my mom was a young mom. She had the first kid probably at like 21, 22. And she used to travel to meet her friend every summer, right? And of course, then the kids were born, so they would travel with kids. And then I was born, and they took me to Spain, and they decided that her best friend would become my godmother, and her husband would be my godfather, right? So I was baptized in Spain. So obviously, when you're baptized and you have godmother like and godfather in Spain, you would like to visit them. So it would be a thing I would do like almost every summer, unless like I couldn't or my parents couldn't take me. I probably visited from like the age of 5 to age of 18. I probably visited Spain like 10 times, let's say, every single summer, right? And we would go there for a week. So I got really familiar with Spain, and it was always kind of like a place for vacation for me. I never saw it as home. Like, honestly, it was just like, oh, to meet my godmother and her son, who's probably the same age as me. And we would just enjoy our time, eat Spanish paella, and just like do simple stuff. So that's why Spain, right? That's what happened with Spain.
And when did it start to feel like home for you, Spain?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I remember like today. So like I said, I used to go back and forth. Eventually, my parents saved up enough money to actually buy an apartment pretty close to here, what I live right now. And it was like a small apartment for like not very expensive, just a frugal apartment, but next to the sea, right? And there was more reason to go. And I finished school, high school. So in Lithuania, we have 12 years of school. And when you finish it, you go straight to university or you don't. That's how usually it works. And I finished school, and I was like, I want to do like a mega vacation with my friends who I grew up with, because I know like some of my friends will go to university and some will leave the country and go whatever they feel like going. So I was like, guys, like I told my 4 closest friends, let's go to Spain. My parents have an apartment, which is like 1-bedroom apartment, and we were 5 of us. But we
Stack up
actually,
on each other, yeah.
yeah. But I was like, let's go, guys, and let's see what happens, and let's just enjoy our time. And they were like, absolutely, let's go. Everyone's hyped. We bought the tickets. Then we like finished the final exams, and we were like, okay, let's go. And we came here for a week. And that was actually the first time I came here without any family. And that was a bit strange, but I loved it. Like, I loved it even more than coming here with family, because I was kind of like already 18, and like in Spain, you can go out at 18, like it's normal. We had a great time, right, with our friends. And I already had my business, all right, running in the background. I wasn't making that much money, but it was just running in the background. Like, I could see the potential of it. It wasn't like anything big, but I could see like, okay, if I push it a bit more, I can live from it. So I had like 600,000 followers, but I didn't know how to monetize. But one thing I knew is I can provide value to someone. So the city I was in, I was just scrolling through on Instagram, and I saw this guy who was like a real estate mogul. And the last day I was there, like, I messaged him like, hey, I'm here. I have 600,000 followers. Maybe you want to meet, like have a drink or something, like have a coffee. And he was like, yeah, sure. I didn't expect him to reply, but he was like, yeah, sure. We met. We talked for like 2 hours. I told him my story. I told what I want to do. And he was like, man, you should move here. I was like, seriously? He's like, yeah, like think about it. Like, it's great weather, like great food, everything you would ever want. You have a great opportunity to move. Just do it. Like, it will push you to do more. I was like, yeah. I mean, if a guy who's like a real estate mogul is telling me, I should listen to him. So sure. Literally, like I came back to Spain, to Lithuania, sold my car, sold my stuff, like my computer, monitor, like everything I had in Lithuania, and booked the tickets and fully moved after like a month of having that conversation with that guy. And he kind of took me under his wing for like a month or 2. And that was just the story of me moving to Spain, which was insane. I loved it. Yeah.
That's amazing. I mean, what a cool story of finding mentorship, finding somebody who you really connect with and who's going to open some doors for you and challenge you in the right ways, you know, to really grow and take some risks. I love it. And also, what a bold move to choose. You know, I'm imagining myself at 18, and I was nowhere near, like I went away to college or whatever, but I was nowhere near moving off to a different country on my own, you know. So that's really, really amazing that you did that. So now that you've been living in Spain for years, what is it that you feel like life in Spain has unlocked in you?
That's a great question. Well, life in Spain is a completely different vibe, because I love sun, right? And like, it's proven that all of us need sun. So it definitely makes me more energetic. But it changed so many things, because also, bear in mind, I was only 18 when I came here. So like, I had to grow up, and I could have like moved to anywhere. I could have like moved to Norway or I don't know, Bali or whatever. I just had to grow up very quickly, right? And because like right before I moved out, like my mom was doing my laundry and like cooking. And when I moved, sure, I had to like grow up pretty quickly, especially when I have a mentor who's like 25 years older than me, like telling me you should focus on your business, you should do this, that, like a guy who has 2 daughters, right? And I'm like a kid who just graduated from school. So it definitely unlocked a lot of maturity. but I would say I'm much more confident with talking to new people, and especially I understood how important it is to talk to older people than me, because like that month or two with that guy who's like 45, like made me so mature. Even at 18, like I completely changed my views on everything. Like because he already finished his like partying phase. Like he wasn't going around like with girls or anything. He had just one woman, kids, like business in place. He had life figured out. And that opened my eyes so much. I was like, all right, that's what I want to do. And I feel that just moving to Spain, like a bold move, as you said, made me so much more mature, and I had to grow up so fast. Like I didn't have time to basically like do stupid things. I was just focusing, all right, this is my business. I need to focus on this. Like when it comes to relationships, don't waste your time on people, you don't want to spend time with. Like just these simple things you just understand while growing up, but it would have probably taken me like 10 years to understand. So definitely moving to Spain made me grow up fast, I would say.
Yeah, it sounds like it. And I mean, everything from the change of scenery, just like one place to another and different climates and whatnot. But also, I mean, that's like prime age for a person to become an adult, right? Like and truly step into being responsible and, making better choices. And for some people, that takes longer. But in your case, you had to speed up some of those steps. And that sounds really, really helpful.
True.
Yeah. So now your place where you're living right now, I want to kind of think, if you wouldn't mind just giving us like a walkthrough, like if we were to come over and visit, what would we find in the place that you're living now?
Totally. So I don't have like a entry room. It's just like you walk in straight into a living room. And it's a Spanish bungalow, two-floor Spanish bungalow with a rooftop and like a big balcony in the first floor. So you walk in and all you see is just a living room right in front of you. To your right, you have a big balcony, a big terrace with some outside furniture. And after the living room on the left, you have like a bar/kitchen area. It's not like an island, but it's kind of like it. It's like a bar, more like a bar, to separate the living room from the kitchen. So I don't spend that much time in the kitchen, but it's a pretty big place. And on the first floor, I have two big bedrooms. So I live with my girlfriend right now. So like I don't use the first one, which is usually like a guest bedroom. Whoever comes, like I meet my parents pretty often. They come here. It's only like a 4-hour flight. So we make sure we see each other pretty often. So yeah, I have a bedroom, and the second bedroom is mine. I'm like a big guy, and a problem I faced when I moved to Spain is a king size bed is, I don't know, I'll tell you in centimeters, right? But just so you imagine,
Sure.
It's 1.50 m by 1.90 m. So it's like a very small bed, and that's considered king size. So I actually had to ship a bed from Amazon UK to sleep comfortably here 2 times. All right. So I love my bedroom having a big actual king size bed, because I'm pretty athletic. I love sports. I'm a big guy. And if I don't have enough sleep, like I won't have enough energy. So yeah, next to the bedroom, I have a bathroom, and then I have just stairs to the second floor, right? Which is not a big place, but it's just like my office where I work, where I have the sofa in the back, and it's like a big table here, very big monitor. I love big stuff. I have a whiteboard in the background. And here, like, I have a rooftop with a barbecue area, which is like pretty big. We're still working on that. I'm planning to purchasing a few furniture pieces for like barbecue in summer, which is coming up pretty soon, and a few palm trees, like small palm trees, because the weather is amazing here. So yeah, that's basically my place. And to give you an example, in square foot, it would be around 1,000 square foot place, excluding the outside like areas.
Yeah, yeah. But those outside areas add a whole nother, outdoor room. That sounds beautiful, man. Sounds like a great place. What do you think are some of your favorite spaces? Like
definitely this
parts of your house
office.
you love the most?
Yeah, definitely this office, because I have like, I used to work in a bedroom. I had a pretty similar setup, but I had a bed in the same room, which like you couldn't see if I would film a video. It was all right. But a problem I faced is if I wake up early, I would just crash like midday and have a nap.
Sure.
So now having like a separate floor for just office makes a big difference, because I feel like this is my space. Like this is my man cave. And also this door leads to just like another bathroom. So I don't need to leave this floor. If I want to, I can work here for like 10 hours, literally go outside on the rooftop. And if I need to use the bathroom, I can use the bathroom here. So I love this space the most. And the second space is definitely my bedroom, because I just purchased a new bed from UK and it's massive and I love it.
That sounds so great. Yeah, it's good to have the bed separate from the workspace so you don't, get tired of work and just, nod off. I love that. Yeah. So it sounds like you work from home, and, that's an important thing, is that workspace so you can work from home and everything. And I want to see the connection now between what it is that you do for work and how your home, your home office supports that. So would you tell us about that link between what you're doing for work and how that space is set up so that you can do your best work?
Yeah, totally. So I have a social media brand on Instagram called Passionate Income. It's like, probably people will understand it if I say a theme page, right? So it's a theme page on Instagram called Passionate Income, about business, entrepreneurship, investing, motivation, just some inspiring quotes too. And we have 1 million followers on there. And also, I'm expanding with the pages all the time, and I'm acquiring new ones, but this is the biggest one, which I've been talking about for ages now. So Passionate Income is my main one. Yes, I'm growing a network of pages like that, but publicly I say, okay, Passionate Income. And the second business is my coaching business, which basically I showed the process from A to Z, how I actually grew Passionate Income and let other people start from zero, where we actually take people like from complete beginner. You can like be complete beginner without any experience on social media, to a person who's making $5,000 to $10,000 a month just with a proper business. So that's what I'm working on the most right now. So probably Passionate Income takes me like 15 to 30 minutes a day, including other pages I have. And coaching business probably takes like the rest of my day, but I make sure not to overwork myself. So usually I work around 6 hours a day, tops, unless I'm working really hard on like a launch or like on a specific project or something. I work around 6 hours a day usually.
Mm-hmm. It's all happening in that space where you've got your bathroom and your big computer screen and access to the terrace.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, exactly. So I forgot about that part, right? So the way it's connected. So I do a lot of Zoom meetings, right? And coaching calls. So I just purchased recently this amazing microphone. This camera is just a simple iPhone 13 Pro Max on a tripod. And I have a MacBook Pro here, but it's connected to like a huge monitor. So yeah, like I said, I love huge things, but it's like a huge LG monitor, 4K, and I have a whiteboard, which like whiteboards, if you use it properly, I love them. Like you can get so much stuff done just by using it properly.
Yeah.
And another favorite thing of mine is a notebook, just like pen and paper. That it works really well. So that's how I set it up. It's very simple. I like to keep it clean because if I have a lot of mess on my table, I'm like all over the place. So I like to keep everything pretty clean here. I never use the sofa actually. It's just like a distraction. I probably need to purchase some bean bags or something and become like a startup founder. But yeah, and I have, you can't really see, but in my background, you can see like LED strip, and I have like a beautiful light in front of me, always while working, and also some fake grass. That's a must.
Some fake grass. The finishing touch. I love it. Yeah, it sounds like all of those things add up to you being able to be productive and focused, and not cluttered in your space, so you're not cluttered mentally. And also, as a person, you're doing work that has international reach, right? Through your social media page, through your coaching clients. So you have this, fantastic ability to do it all remote, and you need to be able to, have the high quality equipment and whatnot to make that all happen.
Oh yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, I want to provide like the best quality service I can. So I'm making sure we're improving that every time. Just to run my passionate income accounts, I could run them on my phone. But when it comes to coaching business, I want it to be top quality. I want our systems to run smooth. So I have like a powerful laptop, powerful setup, powerful monitor, and all of that, powerful microphone, just to make sure everything's smooth.
That's awesome. That's great. Cool. So, I know, especially for a person like yourself who's working from home, and I do the same thing. When home kind of goes sideways, it can affect everything, right? It can affect your relationships with people that you care about, your social life. It can affect your work also, when you're working from home. So, what are the things that you're, keeping tabs on to make sure that it doesn't go sideways in your home?
Yeah, totally. I really like to keep my home clean. The less clutter, the better. For me, it's like if the home isn't clean, then like my headspace isn't really clean, and then I'm just thinking about the clutter. I like clutter when it comes to ideas. So my whiteboard is complete clutter. But to prevent like home issues coming into workspace, like I make sure every time I walk up those stairs, like I leave everything behind and not think about anything else, right? And if I need to, I also make sure to go outside, breathe some fresh air on my rooftop here and get some sun, because that's very important. And also working from home sounds really cool, but sometimes I'm kind of thinking of getting an office because of those issues, right? But I've seen that personally for me, just going to Muay Thai class, which I love, it's my passion, martial arts, just going to a Muay Thai class like 3-4 times a week cleans my head so well from all the home issues, from everything else. When I come back here, I'm like ready to grind, ready to work. And as a matter of fact, everything like becomes all good. Like I become a stoic. All right. So that's what I do.
Yeah, that makes sense. You mentioned this very interesting, mental detachment process in all of this, where you're walking up those stairs from your living area to your work area, right? And what's going through your mind as that's happening? What are you saying to yourself? What are you doing? What's going on through your mind?
Yeah. So I learned this technique from my martial arts coach when I've been doing martial arts since 6 years old. So I remember like the place you work out in martial arts is called dojo. So my coach used to say every single day, as soon as you enter the dojo, don't bring your problems from the outer world to the dojo and leave them behind the door. And so I've been practicing that so long. And it's essentially just like, all right, I like to overthink. I don't like to overthink, but I do overthink. And what I like to do when I overthink and when I have like all these bad thoughts coming my way, I'm like, literally, I say it to myself out loud. I tell myself, who said that? That's not my voice. That's someone else speaking into my mind. I don't want to hear this right now. I need to focus on myself because this is not me. Because we can get caught up into negative thoughts very fast as into positive thoughts, right? And you choose what you think about. So the best way to clean your head is just like, who said that? This is not me. This is not my personality. I'm a completely different person from my thoughts right now. I need to be connected. And also, like, if there's really a need, I just like to use my notebook, like I said again, and remind myself of my goals and what kind of person I am to just clean that. And usually it helps, right? So when I start working, doing actual work, I forget about like all my problems. It's just getting to start doing the work. So when I start doing the work, I'm in a flow position usually, and I'm like in a flow state, and I'm just working, and I can do like 3 hours of work easy and not even feel it. The hardest part is to start doing the work where I need to convince myself like, look, this is not me. This is me, a guy who's working on his business.
Yeah. Wow, that's such a awesome example of what having a really trained mindset can do for you, right? So you've been training in this mindset of when I enter a different space that is about the work I'm up to, the dojo, the office. You get to leave something at the door
Exactly.
that wasn't there, and I think it is interesting the way that we get to make these kinds of choices as people about about space and what those spaces are for and who we want to become in them and all of that. And I just love that.
Yeah.
And I especially find it interesting the saying out loud part of this is not me, and so on. And it makes me think that you must have like a pretty clear picture of who you are and who you are aiming to become. Is that true?
Oh yeah, I'm very, very big on mindset because I know how powerful our minds are. That's why I even sometimes need to say it out loud, to block those thoughts, because I know our minds are super powerful, and like if you do enough research, you understand that having a proper self-image, having proper thoughts about yourself in general, like how to block off negative thoughts can completely change your life. So I have a very clear image of who I'm going to become, and I already know. And I'm living every single day as I am that person. And I know like it will come one day, right? Like the life I'm living it today, probably like when I moved to Spain, I was dreaming of, right? Which is like crazy to say. But yeah, that's how it is. Our minds are super, super powerful. So I have a very clear image, and it's constantly updated. Like my image, probably I update my image every like 3 to 6 months, because I just elevate in something. I meet new people. My eyes open up. Like, I'm all right. I'm already here. Let's move on. So yeah, every day I wake up, I walk as a man I want to become. I'm living as a man who is already in that state. So yeah, I'm very big on mindset.
That's incredible, man. And part of what I'm exploring in this whole, research process around people's homes is actually that connection between home and mindset, home and your emotional state or your commitments or goals or your growth, right? Do you have any tips on how you keep your home in order to keep a great mindset?
That's a great question. How do I keep my home? Would you mind expanding on that? Like, what exactly?
Yeah, well, I think maybe some of it you've already talked about. Everything from keeping it decluttered to, helping your workspace be a dedicated workspace. That transition ritual you have going up the stairs, right?
Yeah.
And those kinds of things. I'm wondering if you have tips that have been particularly helpful for you.
Yeah. Right now, when I think about it, I feel like clutter for me is like the biggest killer of my energy. All right. and dedicated workspace, having a dedicated workspace, not in a bedroom. Like, I see it's a big problem. It was a huge problem for me. And just eliminating like the habits you have. So I had the habit to, like, when I'm tired, go to the bed, right? And I read the book Atomic Habits, right, by James Clear. And I realized, all right, I have to make it hard for me to actually go to bed, right? So doing something like just making your bed, which is less clutter, right? And not working in your bedroom completely changes everything on productivity. And then you can have the proper mindset to do everything you want, because clutter probably is the main thing that will ruin everything. And access to your bad habits, right? Like, if I'm a smoker, I'm not, but like, for example, if I'm a smoker and I have a pack of cigarettes next to my, like, on the table that I'm working on, like, as soon as I'll get nervous and I'll see that pack, I'll be like, all right, I need to go outside right now and have a cigarette, right? But if I lock it in the safe or put it somewhere and forget about it, like, literally, I'll be able to go through the whole day and be like, oh, I even forgot I didn't smoke today, right? So you need to make it hard for yourself to not do the things you don't want to do. So that's super important in your environment. For me, it's make it clean, no clutter, and forget about your bad habits. Make it hard for yourself to do, like, the bad stuff, and make it easy for yourself to do the good stuff. For example, as soon as I walk up the stairs, like, my laptop is open, my monitor is like on sleep mode. So I literally, like, all I need to do is touch my finger and it's like, boom, like, I can work. My notebook is open. Why? Because it's just easier, right? And you don't think about these things, but it's much easier to do this stuff, right? Like, the yellow papers I have, right? It's just there. Like, the pen is there. Everything is there. So it's easy to make it. Like, the tripod is here. So if I need to film a video, I just pop in my phone and I make it easy for myself. Yeah. And it's probably that different to everyone.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. There is, like, a customization process to this, depending on people's personalities or goals or, you know, that kind of thing. And, you know, in some ways, that's my work, is like helping people customize that. But what I hear in you that's so valuable, and I think anybody can take from this, is, you know, make the good habits easy, make the bad habits hard. And in doing that, even in how you arrange your space in your house, it can help you. Right.
Oh,
so
100%.
I'm going to be thinking about that and probably putting some of that into extra practice for us. It's a little hard to manage sometimes chasing an infant around.
Oh,
but,
I totally get it.
Do what I can.
I totally get it.
Yeah. Well, gosh, man, I don't know how it's already gotten so far into this conversation. I've just loved every second of it. Thank you so much, Arnas, for being such an awesome guest on the show. And gosh, there's so many questions that I want to keep asking you that we didn't even get to, but maybe we'll chat again someday.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
So, what is the stuff that you're working on these days, and how can people get in touch if they want to be connected to you?
Yeah. So, like I said, I'm working on expanding my network of Instagram pages, and I'm working on, I already have a coaching program. I'm working on making it better, hiring the right people, hiring the right coaches, so people can hear the perspective, not only from me, but also from other people who are big on Instagram and have different experiences. So I'm hiring more and more people. We're scaling pretty quickly. And yeah, right now we're only adding one person a week. Like, we have a limit and we have more people. We have a wait list of people who want to join us, but we want to make sure the systems are there. Everyone is taken care of properly. So I'm working on that right now, like probably dedicating 90% of my day on that. And yeah, I have like people I work with already. I have a team with passionate income. Like, I only have freelance editors, stuff like that. Here I have a proper team, which I'm really proud of. So that's what I'm working on mainly right now. And also,
that's
people,
amazing.
People who want to find me, the best place to find me is my Instagram at owner Arnas. So owner and my name, and my YouTube channel, which I'm probably going to be expanding very soon. It's Arnas Gintalas, my full name. Just like that. Yeah. That's probably the best place to reach me.
I love it. And I'll take all of that information and you provided it to me as well. I'll put it on a blog post with more information on some of the questions that we didn't even get to, but you wrote up some responses for me, plus links to all of these different places to find you. So thank you again, Arnas, for being an awesome guest. And I guess some final announcements for everybody listening. This has been Home Life for Extraordinary Impact. This is a project coming out of Home Life Design Lab, which is my project all about helping people improve their quality of life at home. And that comes with seeing the connection between your home and your mindset, your home and your impact in the world, your home and your relationships. If you're interested in reading along with my written responses to some of this stuff, and I'm doing in-depth analysis on these interviews and ones that I've done with tons of people all around the world, you can go to homelifedesignlab.com, sign up for the newsletter. You have an option to become a premium subscriber for extra content on that, as well as a premium subscriber on this podcast for extra content on that. And, this has been a great time. Thank you again, Arnas, for being an amazing guest. And until next time, everybody.